Hello, everyone. Despite the progress made in shipbuilding and navigation, accidents at sea happen all the time and for many reasons. Today, you'll witness some of the most massive ones, from container ships colliding to ships breaking in half in the open sea. Let's get it on! Understanding the size of your transport is key, not just for car owners, but also for those steering boats, especially when it comes to giants like container ships. It's all to avoid mishaps such as this. It seems the captain thought the Rotterdam Bridge had enough clearance and the ship could easily pass through, but things definitely didn't go as planned. Later, the investigation found out the ship was overloaded, causing several containers to fall into the water. And it took more than a day to tow the ship away. Pretty epic, huh? This passenger ferry was almost done with its trip when suddenly the main engine failed and the electrical systems went offline. The ship couldn't slow down and stop on time. Now both the ferry and the dock need repairs. But hey, at least the serious breakdown didn't catch the passengers and crew in the middle of the open sea. Even the most seasoned sailors approach a certain place on our planet with caution, and it's called the Drake Passage. It's harsh, crazy, and totally unpredictable. Officially, it's known as the widest and stormiest stretch of water on Earth. It's all about location. This is a strait between continents, separating South America and Antarctica on one side and connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans on the other. With fierce winds and waves as tall as high buildings, it's just what you'd expect in this area. Some witnesses caught in a storm during a cruise in January 2024 claimed their ship was hit by a 30-meter wave and miraculously everyone came out unharmed. When it comes to shipping, it's crucial to recognize just how cumbersome ships can be, especially large container vessels. This often results in various mishaps, such as the recent incident involving a ship in a Brazilian dock. As the ship was moving, it scraped against the breakwater so hard that it created a hole in the hull. You can see in the video how ballast water is leaking through the breach. What happens when 8-meter waves hit the open sea while cars on the deck of a cargo ship are not properly secured? 52 cars are lost forever and the ocean is polluted. That day the elements raged so fiercely that they literally swept away everything on the open platform. If watching these scenes hurts you, it's better to mentally prepare for the next scene. On February 16, 2022, 137 miles from the Azores Islands, a ship carrying luxury cars worth a total of $401 million caught fire. Then, on March 1st, hundreds of Bentleys, Audis, Lamborghinis, and Porsches went down with the ship. This time, it's not about the weather or a captain's mistake, but about a battery that caught fire in one of the electric cars on deck. Water doesn't help extinguish lithium-ion batteries, so firefighters could only stand by and watch. The result, an environmental problem and massive financial damage. However, mistakes happen, and they can lead to disastrous outcomes. Failed launches serve as proof of these errors. Just seconds after the ocean fishing boat was launched in a Chinese port, it started tilting to the left, almost tipping over to the surprise of the onlookers. Luckily, there were no damages, unlike in this situation. When passengers set off on a cruise from Venice aboard the MSC Opera, they couldn't have guessed that the end of their journey would turn out to be far more memorable than the actual trip. Though not in a good way, the ship was docking at the pier as usual when, unexpectedly, the captain lost control due to a mechanical problem. In a video filmed by onlookers, you can see the liner slowly but steadily getting closer to the dock, with two tugboats attempting to stop the massive vessel. A prolonged horn blast is audible, then a grinding sound as the ship makes contact with the pier, prompting people to scatter in panic at the sight of such a colossus. However, the passengers, observing everything from up high, also found themselves in a tough spot. You could sense their unease from the tone of their voices. This is what happens when someone at the helm doesn't have a good sense of distance. Well, they'll need to get more lifeboats for the ship after this, and those ones just sacrifice themselves to protect the ship from much more serious damage. Have you ever thought about why, even when there's a strong wind and big waves, a huge thing like a ship stays steady on the water? Look at this video. It looks like the ship could flip over soon, but it doesn't, and it keeps rocking back and forth like a pendulum. Why is that? First off, one of the main reasons ships float is because of their buoyancy. They have pockets of air inside the hull, which are much less dense than water. Another important thing is displacement. It's the amount of water a ship is pushing out. It's equal to the weight of the ship when it's fully submerged. This also includes having ballasts and stabilizers to keep the ship from capsizing. That's exactly why even the gigantic oil tanker Sea Hague, stretching 584 feet long, stays afloat. And mind you, the waves were hitting 40 feet high that day. Here's someone who clearly doesn't care about the size or clumsiness of their vehicle. Isn't this the most spectacular drift ever? According to specialized maritime services, one of the most common causes of major accidents at sea is storms. Even giant liners and the largest cargo ships can't handle the immense power of nature. So here's a logical question. How did they let this Spanish vessel called Luna venture out to sea off the shores of France? Wind gusts were hitting 60 miles per hour that day. Just see how the ship struggles against the rocks, only to split in half the next moment. With the Air Force's help, 11 people were rescued and no one got hurt during the incident. However, each crew member will forever remember that voyage.